Welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan, and the game we're going to talk about today is Dragon Quest X Rise of the Five Tribes Online, originally released for the Nintendo Wii, the Wii U, the PC, the 3DS, the PS4, and the Switch. Wow, how many versions of this game do I have? So Dragon Quest X, the game in most English Dragon Quest fans' collection that they haven't played at all. Like most people will say, I've beaten Dragon Quest 1 through 9 and 11 and some of the spin-offs. I've never touched 10. Because we got to address the big elephant in the room. The game is Japanese only. Yes, this game has not been released in the US or any English-speaking country. It has been Japan only for quite a long time, since 2012. And I do know some Japanese. I know my hiragana, I know my katakana, I know some kanji, mostly the Dragon Ball kanji, but thanks to this game, I've actually learned a lot more kanji. So I self-taught myself Japanese back in the year 2000 during the big Dragon Ball Z craze on Cartoon Network. But I am nowhere near fluent in Japanese in order to translate any of this, so please don't ask me to translate anything in this game because I wouldn't be able to for the life of me. But however, I am not a stranger to actually playing games in raw Japanese. You know, I've beaten a lot of action and fighting games in raw Japanese, and back in the summer of 1999, my friend lent me a bootleg of Final Fantasy VIII before it came out in the US, and since I was very bored that summer and I couldn't find a job, I actually beat that entire version in raw Japanese even before I even knew any Japanese. I found some guides online, I printed them out, and I even made charts of all the magic and all the weapons. Well, technically back in 1999 when I beat Final Fantasy VIII in raw Japanese, I was basically a masochist. And I unlocked everything in that game, every Guardian Forces, every weapon. But however, for Dragon Quest X, you should probably know katakana at the bare minimum, since katakana is the alphabet they use for foreign words, and a lot of the names and places in Dragon Quest X are in katakana, and if you know katakana at the bare minimum, you should probably be able to navigate through this game. And also the scene direction in this game is so amazingly well done, you know, through the expressions on the characters' faces, the camera angles, and the music. You can kind of get the gist of what's going on even if you don't know any Japanese, like this guy's probably mad about that thing, or this guy's motivated about that thing. And I've wanted to play this game ever since it came out in 2012, but I didn't want to go through the process of getting a Japanese Wii, or hacking my Wii. Well, I already hacked my Wii anyways, and then using 2012 VPN technology. And back in 2014, I actually started watching Zaigas' videos on Dragon Quest X. Well, but now, there's never been a better time to start playing Dragon Quest X because we have a plethora of resources like Japanese guides you can easily translate with Google Translate. And also, you have Google Translate on your phone, which will instantly translate anything you see on screen. Oh wow, I totally understood that! Even though the translation's kind of, you know, oh wow, I can really get $5 off my meal at McDonald's! Thanks, Dragon Quest X! And quite honestly, I'm not really an MMO guy, and my only experience with MMOs is Guild Wars back in 2006, and I remember when I played PvP for the first time and I got my ass kicked, I was called a nooblet. Yes, a nooblet. And that kind of turned me off to playing MMOs with other people. I got all the way to the end game of Guild Wars, but it just got so hard that I couldn't beat any of the missions without other people, so I just kind of gave up. Since I'm not really a big MMO guy, I've never played World of Warcraft, EverQuest, or Final Fantasy XIV, but Dragon Quest X was going to be the exception I wanted to make, because back then it was the missing main series Dragon Quest game that I have not played or beaten yet. So I got interested in playing Dragon Quest X after hearing the Slime Time podcast hosted by my friend Liam and his co-host Platty, so I was listening to the podcast episode with Nawaria, who actually does Dragon Quest X translated playthroughs on her Twitch, and she said each Dragon Quest X expansion is like a full-length Dragon Quest game. So I was like, wow, there's like 5 full Dragon Quest games in one! So on January 1st, New Year's Day 2020, I decided, you know what, I'm going to download the PC version, and I'll play it for about an hour, and that's probably going to be it. Well, that 1 hour has now turned into 500 hours. So what made me play a game that's not even in my native language for over 500 hours? Well, you're going to find out why. And in late 2019 and 2020, there's been a huge surgence of new players playing this game since they lifted the IP ban back in late 2019. And I actually got a VPN to play this game until I realized I didn't really need it, although I do keep the VPN so I can watch Japanese shows on Netflix. So for the first 20 or so hours of this game, I actually played on the PC, but then I moved on to the Switch because I started a Square Enix account. I went through the very, very complicated process of starting a Square Enix account. So when I started the Switch version, I just logged in with my Square Enix account and my data was intact because the game constantly keeps saving as indicated by this rotating icon on the upper left. Alright, so now it's time to talk about the story and the game mechanics, and we will be getting into spoilers here, so if you don't want spoilers, then, that's cool. And I've been getting my story information from a lot of my own Google Translate sessions, Nowaria's videos, and the Dragon Quest X wiki, which is also Google Translated, so I might get a couple of things wrong here. So you begin Dragon Quest X making your own character avatar, and just like Dragon Quest IX, you have a lot of customization options, and you actually have way more customization options in this game, so you can actually make your in-game avatar look nearly like you. See, I think mine looks exactly like myself, I got the eyes down really good. Toriyama mad eyes like Vegeta. So after you create your own character avatar, you get to create your sibling's avatar too. So you begin the game on the island of Ethine, localized as Tenton in Dragon Quest XI-S for the Switch. Now, I think Tenton is a good name, but I prefer Ethine because I think the developers wanted this to be more of a pun on Athens, and you know how pun-heavy Dragon Quest games are, even in Japanese. And when you do play the expansions, I do think Ethine makes a lot more sense. So it's a normal day in the village with you and your sibling, and then you see the elder of the village, Abba, localized as Tenda in Dragon Quest XI-S for the Nintendo Switch, who actually looks like a much older version of Jessica from Dragon Quest VIII, just, she's gained a lot more weight, and she's a lot older. Yeah, Jessica, you kind of let yourself go a bit. So she sends you on a mission to collect flowers with her grandson, Shin-E, who wears glasses and has a really, really awesome hat. So this is basically the offline starting area that gets you used to controlling the game, moving around, accepting quests, going to markers. And outside, the battles are just like Dragon Quest IX and the most recent Dragon Quest games, where you get to see all the monsters on the world map. And the battle system is a lot different in Dragon Quest X in comparison to the rest of the mainline Dragon Quest games. Like, the battles aren't exactly turn-based, they're more real-time, because in Dragon Quest XI, you did get to move around in battle, but it was mostly cosmetic since it was still turn-based. But this time in Dragon Quest X, it's very, very important to move around, your position where you're attacking the enemy, because a lot of the times you have to actually run away to avoid enemy attacks, you have to actually jump over enemy attacks, and you can actually push enemies away to keep them away from your healers, and this gets very, very important later on in the game. So you have to be very, very quick on your decisions in Dragon Quest X. But don't worry, you're going to get the hang of it pretty quickly, and even though the game is in Japanese, you're going to get by mostly on menu memorization. I don't always need to translate Kogeki as attack, Also, your allies are AI controlled, and the AI for this game is actually pretty smart for the most part, which is good, because the AI will heal you when you need to be healed, it'll revive you when you need to be revived, and the AI will cast buffs when you need them. And you can actually check out your next objective on the map by checking out the yellow circle. And if you're playing on the Nintendo Switch, you can press X to actually access your menu, and then press Y to actually access your next story point, which is very, very helpful. Sometimes the circle will be in a building in a place you've never been in before, so I do recommend having one of the Japanese guides next to you to tell you where your next location is. So we go inside this cave with the flowers, and then we have to fight our first major boss, Magic Demon Bedora. But even though we defeat him, sadly the flowers end up getting burned. And that's not exactly the worst thing to happen. So we go back to the village and holy crap, it's being destroyed, it's on fire, oh my god! This is a lot like the beginning of Dragon Quest II, isn't it? So everybody in the village dies, including you! But the turtle Galapagos sends your spirit to the Temple of Light. And the Temple of Light is where you get to be reborn as one of the 5 races. So you can choose from the Wedi, aka the Wetlings, the Pukalipos, aka the Poppets, the Elves, the Dwarfs, and the Ogres. And I know Wedi is the most popular race, but I decided to go with the Ogre so I could be big and buff Ogre man. And once you choose your race, you get to choose your class between Warrior, Priest, Mage, Martial Artist, Thief, and Minstrel. And I wanted to do something different with this game, so I went with Martial Artist, and I'm glad I did, mostly because of the tension attack, and once you fully master your Martial Artist, you can do about 30k damage in one go. And there was an extended offline version for your sibling, but it was discontinued in 2017 because it was kind of considered non-canon, but you get to see it as cutscenes through these books throughout the game. So because I started off with an ogre, we start off the ogre story in the village of Langau, where we see this ogre woman named Miley carrying the body of a dead ogre warrior, and as the town is mourning this dead ogre warrior, your spirit inhabits his body and you're brought back to life and everybody's happy, yay! So technically I've kind of died twice in Dragon Quest X already, and I've only been playing the game for less than an hour. And every single race does have a different beginning story, but we're going to cover the ogre one here. So after recovering, you talk to Miley's father, Chief Cliff Glenn, who looks like Ogre Burt Reynolds. And he's telling us that he dropped one of his Rura stones in a nearby cave, and Rura stones are actually translated as Zoom stones in Dragon Quest XI-S. Unlike other Dragon Quest games, you don't exactly get the Zoom spell for convenience to visit places you've already been to. You actually have to get these things called Rura stones, Rura being the word for Zoom in Japanese. And you can actually set these Rura stones to the beginning of dungeons, and churches and towns, at the beginning of towns. And I do admit it is a bit inconvenient in comparison to the Zoom spell, but you'll get used to it pretty quickly. Like, I usually set one Zoom stone at the town I'm in, and then in front of the next dungeon I'm going to go to. And sadly, all the way through version 1, which is Rise of the Five Tribes Online, you get a very, very small amount of Rura stones until you play version 2, which is the first expansion, where you get the Mega Rura stone, where you get to travel through all the major locations throughout the game. So once we reach the cave, we see a little ogre girl named Jenya, who actually meets us there, and then she's spying on one of our ogre pals, Zingaf, who's actually unsealing a demon. Oh my god, we gotta go back to town now and tell Ogre Burt Reynolds. So we tell Chief Cliff Glenn the news, and we're accompanied by another ogre named Arnold, who looks a lot like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger of the ogres. And then Zingaf appears back in the village, now possessed by the evil demon Zongalon, and he actually reveals he had a grudge against Arnold for throwing a fight which cost Zingaf his honor. And Zingaf is saying that Arnold has no honor and kidnaps Miley in retaliation. Right, so we chase Zingaf back into the cave and defeat him, and then he's freed of the evil spirit Zongalon, and Zongalon gets sealed away by a mysterious light. And now Zingaf is back to normal and he apologizes for his actions. And so back in the village, we do look in the mirror of Ra and see our old human self in the reflection. And Ogre Burt Reynolds, aka Chief Cliff Glenn, tells us that it's time for us to travel the world of Astoltia in order to investigate this mysterious light. And also, Zingaf and Arnold are buddy-buddy again and they go off the train. And our first goal in Dragon Quest X is to get the 5 minor key emblems by traveling the world of Astoltia, which is comprised of 5 continents. The continent of Ogrid for the ogres, the continent of Dorchaka for the dwarves, the continent of Pukuland for the poppets, aka the Pukulipos, the continent of Eltona for the elves, and the Weena Islands for the Weddies, and 2 other islands which are Entertainment Island Lackland and Port Town Lender. And also in the center of Astoltia, we do see a continent engulfed in mysterious clouds. Now, walking around the world map is very, very slow in comparison to the rest of the Dragon Quest games, and even with auto run, you still run very, very slow in this game. And there is a quest on the dwarf continent to get a vehicle called the Dollar Board, which helps you move a lot faster, and you can actually upgrade the Dollar Board for more gas tanks and a boost feature, which really helps, because running in this game is very slow, especially if you've been spoiled by Dragon Quest XI. And also, once you do access the online portion of the game, you actually get to choose which server you can go on, with server 1 being the most active. And if you choose servers 8 and 9, which are the beginner servers, they actually have metal slime times where you get to see metal slimes, liquid metal slimes, all over the map at a certain time for about half an hour at a time, which will help you raise a lot of experience. Because I remember I raised up to level 5, up to level 20 in one night. But you can only play on these servers up until like level 89 or so, because since these are beginner servers, you will probably be a little too strong to be on them. And you can actually get this Angel Slime Hat, which actually doubles your experience up to level 89. So you can actually get the key emblems in any order, so I'm going to tell you the order which I got them in. So as the ogres, you go to the first capital city of Glen, and you get to meet this fairy called San Bateria, who actually gives you a book. So when you talk to any yellow icon on the map, you get free gold, mini medals, and items. But by the end of version 1, I pretty much exhausted it. Now, this is the part that actually made me want to get a subscription and buy the full game. So my friend Allie from my Dragon Quest group actually messages me to play with her, and then she shows me around the world, and she drives me around in her car. Yes, Dragon Quest X has dollar boards, which are cars.
BRB, taking a photo.
that actually inspired me to buy a car from the Dragon Quest X web shop on Hiroba. And yes, I know people hate microtransactions, but in Dragon Quest X, I've probably spent a ton of money here on the Dragon Quest X web shop for clothes, items, housing. Well, then again, Dragon Quest IX had a train, so, but cars aren't they a little more futuristic though? So once you get to your first capital city, this is where the entire world of Dragon Quest X opens up, because this is where you get to do a lot of the in-game features. So first of all, there's inns, there's weapon shops, there's item shops, and inside of the inns there is actually someone dressed in orange known as the concierge. And the concierge actually gives you a lot of free items like free gold, free casino tickets, free bingo tickets. And then you can also play the lottery in this game called the Fukubiki, where you can spend Fukubiki tickets to get prizes and special Fukubiki tickets to get even better prizes. And the concierge actually keeps a charge for you, and this charge is how many hours you've actually been playing and not playing. And if you actually accumulate enough charge hours, you can exchange them for Genki Damas, which help you get more experience, and also Metal Slime Labyrinth tickets, which I will talk about a little later. So the Metal Slime Labyrinths are special labyrinths where you actually get to fight metal slimes, liquid metal slimes, and you have a 100% chance of hitting all of them. So if you use a Genki Dama or some food to actually boost your experience, you can gain a lot of experience. And at the end you fight the Metal King Slime, you can probably get around 500,000 experience per run from this, and it's amazing. And if you notice in this game, getting gold is a bit tough because, the gold drops from enemies are very, very tiny. And you can get gold by completing quests and doing story. And one of the best ways to get gold in this game are the daily subjugation quests, where at the entrance of each town there's a purple icon, most likely a guard, who will tell you that you need to kill this many monsters in this certain place. And once you kill all those monsters, you can go back to the guard and collect a whole bunch of experience and gold. By the time you reach the second capital cities, they increase the amount of gold and experience, and this is Dragon Quest X's way of making you play the game every single day. I have personally not missed a single day playing this game because I keep wanting to do the daily subjugation so I can get gold and experience. And in Dragon Quest X, just like most MMO games, you actually get housing in this game. Yes, a very own house to call your own. And from what I heard, housing in this game is way, way easier than Final Fantasy XIV's. So you can get housing at any of the beginning capital cities. You choose a plot of land, either medium or small, and then after that you can get a medium or small house. And I started off with a very, very small tent because I didn't know any better. Then I upgraded to a small house, and then after that I saved up enough money to buy a medium-sized plot, and then I bought myself a Japanese house from the Square Enix web store on Hiroba, and I decorated this thing to the brim, with the Zoma statue from the 6th anniversary event. I got the Baramo statue, I got the Dragon Lord statue, and I got the Estark statue right in my front yard. And I've also been able to decorate my house with the Dragon Quest XI poster and statues, which you can get from present tickets from every 10th of the month for Dragon Quest X Day. And probably my personal favorite way of making money is the Bazaar. Now you can only access the Bazaar if you have a subscription to the game, and if you go to the icon with the 2 scales, that's the Bazaar, and you can actually sell items, you can actually buy items. And it's much easier to find the high-level weapons in the Bazaar, although they are a bit expensive. And also in Dragon Quest X, you actually get crafting. Like, you can choose a crafting skill, either weapon crafting, armor crafting, item crafting, sewing, woodworking, alchemy. But I went with weapon crafting because I recognize it from Dragon Quest XI. And if you're wondering where the fun size forged came from, it actually originated in Dragon Quest X. So usually I craft weapons and I sell them on the marketplace, but the marketplace does get competitive from time to time, so I usually sell items much lower than the lowest price, and I usually make a lot of profit. There have been times I've run myself into a deficit, so be careful when you're selling items. Make sure to check on the competition. And returning from Dragon Quest IX are the trains, and the trains are going to be the way you travel across the world before you get the Mega Rura Stone. And throughout the game you can get Rura Stones with special quests, but the problem is in version 1 Rise of the 5 Tribes you don't get a lot of Rura Stones, so you will have to wait till version 2 before you get the Mega Rura Stone. And so one of the islands not connected to the main 5 continents is the entertainment capital Lackland, where there's the Metal King where you get to exchange your mini medals, and then after that there's the Coliseum where you get to play PvP or do some quests there, and the most popular one of all, the casino. And this is the biggest casino in any Dragon Quest game. Like, look at this place. It looks like freaking Luxor in Las Vegas. Inside the casino you can actually play bingo, you can actually play poker, you get to play slots, you get to play roulette, and then my personal favorite, Sugoroku, which you can play with your friends. And there's also slime races, and you can exchange tokens for a lot of the amazing items in the game. And the other second island is the port town of Lendor, where you can do a couple of quests here. And most importantly, this is where you can go fishing, and also this is home of the magic labyrinths. Now, the magic labyrinths are these short labyrinths where you kill monsters, then you kill a boss at the end to get some items, but you can actually put in some cards and coins and fight some legacy Dragon Quest bosses like Baramos, King Hydra, and a lot of the Dragon Quest IX bosses like General Gorion. And each of these bosses actually gives you either accessory shards, where you can actually assemble them to make accessories, or really powerful accessories. And I highly recommend upgrading your accessories as much as possible, because if you're wondering why your HP is so low in this game, is because you probably haven't upgraded your accessories or done your passive abilities for the other classes. And also, Port Town Lender is where they held the cosplay event. Yeah, like I got to see people dressed as other Dragon Quest characters, Goku, Broly, Kenshiro, Dio, Batman, C-3PO, not just limited to Dragon Quest characters, and it was awesome. And also when you take the train, you actually get to meet Sage Horo, who actually is your advisor throughout the game, because he actually recognizes that you've been reborn in the body of a fallen warrior.
Say there. Ah, I see. You've been reincarnated in the body of a warrior. I sense a different aura about you. This isn't your original body, is it? Impressive! Want some food? It's really good. Suit yourself, Hero. More grub for me.
And he's the one that tells you that you need to get the key emblems in order to go to the heart of Hades and defeat the evil demon lord Nelgil. And once you do reach the capital towns, you can actually do some quests to actually get more allies from the bar and change your classes. And I do recommend changing classes often so you can raise their passive abilities, which every single class can use. And also, when you level up in this game, you do get an initial level cap of level 50, but you do have to do the level cap release quests every 5 levels. So once you hit level 50, you have to do the level 55 release quest and then the level 60 release quest. So pretty much every 5 levels, make sure to do the level release quest. And if you're playing on the trial, you can only go up to level 80. Alright, so now back to the story. To get the key emblems, we go into Glen Castle to talk to King Bagudo to get the first key emblem, and he has a bit of a major headache and he's kind of pissed off, like he's drunk or something, and he throws us in prison. Wow, man, I think you need some ibuprofen there, King. So we're tossed in jail with a sage named Eidos, and just like Sage Horo, he does recognize that we are in a reincarnated body. And then we're freed by one of the guards named Zidane, just like Final Fantasy IX, and he tells us that we need to look for the Holy Grail to cure the king's bad headache, because it worked for Indiana Jones' dad, right? So in order to get the Holy Grail, we go to this cave and fight the skeletal remains of this warrior named Orin, who completely kicked my butt. So after doing the quest to get more party members, I'm able to finally beat him, but it's not quite over since we do have to go to the mountains to find the special drop for the Holy Grail, and we fight Water Dragon Gilgish in order to get this drop, and then after that we go to Glen Castle to go to King Bagudo to give him the Holy Grail to drink away his headache, because it works a lot better than ibuprofen in the Dragon Quest world, and he's feeling better and gives us the first key emblem. And also, because he had a headache, he actually was going to declare war on the second capital city, Gartland, but now that we cured his headache, he called the war off. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I've had some pretty bad headaches in the past, but I don't know if they got bad enough for me to declare war on an entire other city. So the next key emblem I went after was on the continent of Eltona, the home of the elves. And I really love this place because it looks so beautiful. I love the Japanese scenery, I love the Japanese music, and I love the ancient Japanese architecture of the elf continent. So we arrive in the first elf capital city of Aslan, and we see an argument between this little girl named Fura and her father. So Fura's father wants her to succeed her late mother as a windrunner, but Fura doesn't want to. So in order to get the key emblem, Fura's father makes us investigate Fura and why she doesn't want to succeed her mother. So we see Fura visiting her mother's grave, and then she's attacked by monsters, but then after that these deer come and drive the monsters away, and then we find out Fura's mom died trying to save these deer, so that's why Fura resented the deer. But then after that, in an emotional Dragon Quest moment, we see the deer place Fura's mom's favorite flower on her grave out of respect, because Fura's mother saved their lives. And such a touching moment, man. So after seeing the deer respect Fura's mother at her grave, Fura finally decides that she's going to go through the ceremony to finally succeed her mother as a wind rider. So we go back to the town of Aslan, and Fura's father is ready to initiate the ceremony, so we go to the Sui Tower. So the Sui Tower is actually the first major story quest I actually did with my friend Nick, and he helped me beat the boss at the top, Pusugan. And after you defeat Pusugan, Fura gives her doll, and Pusugan leaves in a hilarious fashion out the window. And the funny thing is, I've never done the Sui Tower quest alone. I did it with my friend Nick, and then after that we actually helped our friend Milo beat the Sui Tower, so I've never done the Sui Tower story quest on my own. And so with Fura's ceremony completed, we finally get the next key emblem. So the next key emblem I decided to get was on the Wina Islands at the Wedi town of Jolette. So upon arriving at Jolette, we talked to the mayor, who's saying he's having problems with the cats, aka the Meowgicians, meow. And he also tells us about a little girl named Somia, who's been abandoned by her parents and is acting a bit strange. So in order to get the key emblem, the mayor makes us go to these ruins, so we can get a ripple fork to transmit the Song of Grace throughout the islands. But sadly, once we reach the ruins, the crystal fangs that were used for the Song of Grace have greatly deteriorated and we cannot repair them. And fortunately, the fangs do get repaired and we are able to transmit the Song of Grace, but sadly, that's not enough. So we're not able to get the key emblem quite yet. So we later find out that Somia actually is hiding a secret. She actually has a little baby cat. Oh, it's so adorable. And we do encounter the awesome, badass Wedi swordsman Fuser. Well, it's either Fuser or Huza, but I prefer Fuser because it sounds edgy like his character. Now, Fuser was about to toss the baby cat into the ocean. Why? It's so cute! But the mayor says we should probably bring this cat back to Cat Mama, the leader of the cats, and maybe we can have a truce so the cats don't eat us. And so Somia does agree to take the cats back and Fuser joins us. And so we go to the lair of the cats to return the baby cat to Cat Mama, who actually looks like Duchess from the Aristocats, but much bigger and mad with power. But then we find out that Cat Ribiero, who actually has one of the coolest Dragon Quest X designs, who's actually one of the cat enforcers, who reveals his evil plan that he was gonna actually kill the little baby cat and then kill Cat Mama to take over the Cat Kingdom.
The jig is up, you feline felon.
I would have gotten away with it too, bro, if it weren't for you meddling questers.
Cat Ribiero, huh? Or should I call you Captain Cat Pants?
Bro, Captain Cat Pants? I'm gonna slice you to ribbons, fish boy. Daddy's gonna be eating some good tuna tonight.
I'm gonna slice your whiskers off before that happens, Mr. Cat Pants.
Then come to Daddy's fish grill, bro.
So Cat Ribiero wanted to be top cat here. So after we spoil Cat Ribiero's plans...
Had enough, Captain Cat Pants?
You may have got me now, bro, but the cat will live to fight another day cause we got 9 lives.
Back to the litter box, you filthy feline.
Next time, bro!
He sadly escapes, but we do give the cat back to Cat Mama, and then truce is made between the Weddies and the cats, and we finally get the Wedi key emblem. So the next key emblem I went for was on the Dorchaka continent of the dwarves, at the capital city of Gatara. And Gatara is where you do get the dollar board quest to get your vehicle mount. So as soon as we enter Gatara, we actually see this small female dwarf thief steal things from Garakuda Castle. And then we encounter Dustin, who's really awesome, as he's basically the comic relief of the game. He is pretty furious that the thief made off with some parts from his castle. So in order to get the key emblem from the dwarves, we agree with Dustin to help chase the thief down to the Chaldea cave. So the thief is about to dispose of the items in the lava, and her reasoning is because it's too dangerous to actually open the door to the Urbea ruins. But Dustin says he still has enough parts to open the Urbea ruins anyways. So we do go to the Urbea ruins and Dustin opens the door, and then we see the Urbea soldiers attack Dustin, oh my god, like the Terminators! And then we learn that the masked female was actually Dustin's daughter Chiri, and she stole the parts because she was concerned about her father opening the door and getting into a dangerous situation. Well, at least she is a rebellious daughter for a good reason, Dustin. So after defeating the Urbea soldiers, Dustin and Chiri make amends and we get the next key emblem. So the next key emblem I went after was on the Pukuland continent at the capital city of Orfair, home of the Poppets, aka the Pukalipos. So we visit the circus with Ringmaster Navlet, and he shows all the kids his trick and makes them disappear!
Come one, come all. Welcome to the Orfair Poppet Circus, and for my next trick, I will make all of you children disappear.
Okay, so are the kids coming back? But a puppet named Inspector Pakure suspects that Ringmaster Navlet was running a criminal organization that kidnaps children. Oh my god! So we go to Silver Hill and see Ringmaster Navlet lead these kids through a magic door.
Yes, come inside the magic door, kids. There's plenty of poppet candy inside. No need to shove. That'll show that demonic bastard. I can't wait to see the reaction on his smug face now.
I wonder what kind of candy is in there, like magic Snickers? And then after that we go back to Orfair and then we see the evil demon Zaigas. And the evil demon Zaigas says that we need to give him the children after 15 years.
I've waited 15 years, and now it's time for me to snack on those delicious puppet children. Oh! We can have puppet pancakes, puppet popcorn, puppet pizza, and a whole puppet children buffet. Now, it's time to eat. Where are the children? I'm hungry.
You wanna know where they are?
Where?
Up your ass!
How dare you? I even brought my puppet pepper seasoning.
Well, my friends here are about to give you a bad case of indigestion.
That joke sucked and you know it, you puppet punk.
Oh wait, so do the children taste better after 15 years or something? So Ringmaster Navlet reveals that he actually kidnapped the children to keep them safe from the evil demon Zaigas. Well, I guess it was just a case of misunderstanding because he just wanted to protect the children. So Ringmaster Navlet tells us that he's going to lure Zaigas into Forster Square. And if we defeat Zaigas, he's going to give us the key emblem and reveal the details of why Zaigas came back after 15 years to eat some children. And so once we defeat the evil demon Zaigas, Ringmaster Navlet tells us that his late sister, Queen Alway, actually had the power of foresight before she died. And she foresaw that a great hero was going to be born in 15 years. And she became the Queen of Megistris, which is actually the other puppet capital city. And when she opened the magic door at Silver Hill, the evil demon Zaigas forced her to use her power of foresight to actually predict when the hero was going to be born. And she told Zaigas that the hero was going to be born in 15 years in order to deceive him because she knew that the hero was going to be born somewhere else. So now the children are free and we hold another circus and we get the next key emblem. Inside a cake! I guess we get our cake and our emblem and get to eat it too. So once you get the 5 minor key emblems, it's time to get the 5 major key emblems. Now you only need 6 emblems, which are 5 minor and 1 major key emblem in order to fight the final boss, but I do recommend getting the major key emblems, obviously to see more of the story, get some more experience, and it's going to make it a lot easier to fight the final boss. But since we're already on the Poppet continent, I decided to go to the next capital city, the city of Megistris. And now the city of Megistris is actually where you can change your hero's hair, you get to change your hero's skin, in case you weren't satisfied with the way you started off your hero. And this is where I got to rent the Dragon Quest VIII costume, the Goldman costume, and then the White Day costume. And in the city and castle of Megistris, we actually encounter the hero Foster, and also King Poppin and his assistant Id. Yes, Id, like Ego. So we find out King Poppin is trying to initiate this ritual at the cost of his own life in order to stop this evil essence from actually consuming the entire Pukulan continent, but Id tries to stop him. And they also discuss they do need to find the notebook of the deceased Queen Alway, because the notebook has the power to grant 3 wishes, and Queen Alway did use the final wish, which resulted in her death. So we go to the glittering windmill tower to clear some monsters, and if we clear these monsters, the king will give us the key emblem. But however, Id's men that did come with us actually reveal themselves to be the monsters and betray us, and so we end up defeating them, but the king doesn't believe us and throws us out of the throne room. Yeah, I think the kings in Dragon Quest X need to realize that their advisors are mostly evil. And so Foster catches up with us after our utter failure and notices that we are a reincarnated warrior. So we go to the ruins of Queen Alway's villa in order to relive her past. And so Foster realizes that the queen's son, Prince Raguis, actually has the notebook. And Foster actually turns into Prince Raguis, and Prince Raguis says he took the form of Foster, one of the Poppet's greatest heroes, in order to protect Megistris. Mostly because Foster was one of the first Poppet kings from 500 years ago and was regarded as a great hero, and so he goes back to being Prince Raguis and his loot turns into the notebook. So we go back to the glittering windmill tower, and then after that Id reveals his true form! So Id was actually a demon trying to fool the king into going through with the ritual, but kind of stopped him because he kind of wanted the notebook first, in order to get the 3 wishes. So we battle it at the windmill tower, and it does come at the cost of King Poppin's life. And then after that, Raguas becomes the new king and uses the notebook to wish away the evil essence from the island. And then in another emotional Dragon Quest moment, he reads the notebook and he's touched by his mother's last wish, because that last wish was to protect the country. Oh, for such cute creatures, they have such an emotional story, man. And after that, Prince Raguas gives us the next key emblem. So the next major key emblem I decided to get was back in the Ogre continent at the capital city of Gartland. And as soon as we enter Gartland, this little dwarf thief tries to steal my wallet. Hey. But this big lady named Sage Marine, whoa, she got big magumbos, actually picks up the dwarf thief and throws him 100 feet into the air. I don't think he's coming back down. And then she goes off to see the king. And Gartland is a place where you can actually do a quest to reset your skill points, just in case you allocated skill points to the wrong skill because you couldn't read the language, or if you want to try different skills and don't want to raise a million levels. So we see our old pals Arnold and Miley talking to King Grosner about some missing soldiers from Gartland Castle. And Sage Marine is there also to talk to the king, and so in order to get this next key emblem we have to rescue the soldiers, but on our way to rescue the soldiers, Arnold gets kidnapped, and we find out that the soldiers are at the pirates' hideout. So we see a woman in white using a jewel to transform herself into her true form, and her name is Demon Giuliante. Well, hey, you can totally cast a spell on me anytime, Giuliante. But after defeating her, we only free 2 of the soldiers, and the rest are missing, including Arnold. So we go back to the king. And one of the soldiers actually gives them Giuliante's jewel, but then after that, Sage Marine takes it and reveals her true form. Oh god, And Sage Marine reveals that she and her sister Giuliante were actually demon sisters, and blamed the events of the previous war, and they wanted to take control of someone who had the power to revive people. So we go back to the ancient Oresco arena in order to rescue Arnold and the rest of the soldiers. We defeat Sage Marine, and then after that, this clown traveler named Puju. I don't like this guy, man. He pisses me off. And he says he's gonna report to the One, which we'll find out very, very later in the expansions. So we go back to Gartland and get the key emblem. So the next key emblem I went after was in the Kingdom of Dolworm, which is the second dwarf capital city. So we have to travel to the Gobble Desert, gobble gobble gobble, and Dolworm Castle is a bit confusing to navigate. Oh boy, this is almost like a dungeon in itself. So the Kingdom of Dolworm has been having problems with King Urad and Prince Ramiza, who are brothers, and Prince Ramiza doesn't feel confident that he's able to succeed his brother and become the new king of the castle. And one big problem is the Kingdom of Dolworm is in danger of losing energy, and Director Dura actually shows them an experiment that actually turns this evil stone into energy, and Dustin's daughter Chiri actually appears as one of the researchers, with a human female with glasses named Lunana, who's actually pretty hot by the way, who's trying to assist them, but her true purpose is to boost her fame. So we go to Carsadora Volcano in order to get some more stones to power up the city, but however, powering up these stones accidentally revives the evil spirit of Tenma Kurvana, so the king is pretty mad at Director Dura for freeing him, so we pretty much had to go and fight him. And also we find out that the stone we powered up wasn't exactly the correct stone and is in danger of blowing up the entire kingdom. Alright, let's see, we've already died twice in this game, and now the whole kingdom is in danger of blowing up. Yeah, we can't really catch a break in Dragon Quest X, can we? So after we defeat Tenma Kurvana, everyone is doing their power to stop the explosion, but Prince Ramiza actually unleashes his full power to stop the explosion, and it's actually revealed that Chiri was actually King Urad's daughter and was abandoned at a young age and was raised by Dustin as a child, in another emotional Dragon Quest X moment. So she's technically the princess of Dolworm, but however, she refuses to live in the castle because she sees Dustin as her true father, and the king and Director Dura will still try to fix Dolworm's energy problem, and you get the key emblem after defeating Tenma Kurvana and preventing, the apocalypse. And Prince Ramiza does get the confidence to finally succeed the throne one day. So the next major key emblem I decided to get was at the second Wedi capital city of Varanard. Now Varanard is the place where you actually get to fuse accessories. And like I mentioned before, accessories are very, very important. And here at the accessory shop you get to fuse accessories to make your stats even more powerful. And also outside the accessory shop you can actually exchange alchemy stones in order to power up your weapons. And also in Verenard at the bar where they do play Wagon Wheels March from Dragon Quest IV, you actually get to participate in the Astoltia Defense Force, which is a bunch of raid missions with 7 other people, with a total of 8 people actually trying to defend a town from monsters, and if you beat these monsters, you get some of the top level weapons in the game. So as we enter the second capital city of Verenard, we see Queen Diore singing a song to all the citizens, but however, she is at odds with her son, Prince Otis, who wants to go to the Forbidden Land, but he's forbidden to do so. And we do get to see this really funny scene of a fortune teller Weddy who gets his leg bit by a dog. So after talking to Queen Diore, we do talk to Prince Otis, and he tells us to meet us at the Royal Investigation Camp. And at the Royal Investigation Camp, we do meet up with the Weddy who did get his leg bitten by the dog. His name is Kazlin, and he wants to accompany us to actually help Prince Otis out. Hey Kazlin, I think you're a pretty funny stand-up guy, even if the dogs don't like you, so if you hang out with us, we'll protect you from all the dogs, the best we can. So now we go into the Forbidden Land in the Eternal Underground Labyrinth. And now we find out why Prince Otis wants to go down here. So we see a Weddy princess trapped in water, which is actually water that stops time, and Otis wants to free her. And Otis wants to free her because he's pretty certain that she's one of the Weddy princesses from the past. So Kazlin tells us a fortune about a song that will drain the eternal water, but the queen says the song has been forbidden for over 1,000 years, and refuses to sing it for us because she has such a nice singing voice. So we go to the Poetry Ruins, yes, the Poetry Ruins, named after poetry. And so we try to read the tablet for the song, but the tablet is actually a crab monster who we have to fight. So after we defeat it, we get the Song of Setsuna. So we go back to the Forbidden Land, and Prince Otis tries to sing the Song of Setsuna in order to free the princess, but it doesn't work. But however, Kazlin reveals his true nature. He was trying to use Prince Otis in order to revive Tyrant Bassa Grande. That kind of sounds like a meal from Taco Bell, you know, the one that gives us the massive diarrhea. In order to rule the world! Yes! All hail King Kazlin! All the dogs from the earth shall be purged for biting my leg. Ooh, those nasty dogs. Kazlin, you traitor! You wanted to get rid of all the dogs from the world, didn't you? So Kazlin kicks Otis into the eternal water, but then after that the dog from earlier comes inside the ruins and bites Kazlin again, and then he falls into the eternal water in a comical fashion. And we find out since Otis wasn't exactly the proper king, he wasn't able to sing the song to free the princess, but then Queen Diore arrives and sings the song and frees us all, including Kazlin. But then after that, Kazlin tries to convince Tyrant Bassa Grande that they can rule the world together with their evil Taco Bell. But then Tyrant Bassa Grande's like, I don't need no wimpy Weddy like you, Kazlin. No, my Taco Bell's gonna give everyone in Dragon Quest X diarrhea. So we fight Tyrant Bassa Grande, and he has this bad habit of casting Disruptive Wave on us, which I pretty much assume is, giving us diarrhea from Taco Bell. But we beat him, and then we see the traitor dog-hating Kazlin run away. Yeah, you better run, boy, you better run. I'm gonna come after you. And back at Verenard Castle, Queen Diore says she didn't want her son going to the Forbidden Land because that would have put him in danger. And also, the princess that they freed named Saria now lives with them in the castle, and we get the next key emblem. And now for my personal favorite story in Dragon Quest X version 1, Rise of the Five Tribes, we go for the next key emblem on the Elf continent at the second capital city of Kami Harumi. So once we go to Kami Harumi Castle, we find out that King Nikoroi, who looks like a massively badass samurai alpha elf, has gone to the abandoned castle because 50 years ago, there was an incident involving his family. Back when he was 6 years old, his older sister, Princess Rita, actually had the power to communicate with the Holy Land, but she could not control it. And because Princess Rita could not control the power of the Holy Land, her madness actually killed herself, her mother, and her father. And King Nikoroi was always wondering, why was he spared 50 years ago? So we go to the very, very spooky abandoned castle. Oh my god, this is very scary. And we actually see flashbacks of Princess Rita actually sealing away their mother, Queen Agasuna, and during these flashbacks we actually see Queen Agasuna saying, "You must get the leaf of the dark tree to bring me back." Wait a minute. Usually in Dragon Quest games we need an Yggdrasil leaf to actually bring people back. You know, the leaf of the green tree, the Yggdrasil tree. So we pretty much had to go to the other side of the continent, to the dark forest to get the dark tree. Well, the Yggdrasil tree is that way? Okay, Mom. So on our way to the dark forest to get the leaf of the dark tree, we go to Gakapuchi village, and then we see, oh my god, it's under attack by S-Stark!
Poggers.
So S-Stark, looking really, really pissed off, is laying waste to Gakapuchi village. Oh my god, S-Stark, don't step on her, I can't watch! And right before S-Stark is about to kill that little girl, he actually gets sealed away by Sage Rhodia and her gang. Sage Rhodia says, those who have the will to fight, and the ones who find the king's armor will be the ones to defeat S-Stark. Now this isn't exactly S-Stark, this is actually a separate being called the King of Calamity, but we're just gonna call him S-Stark because, come on, he looks like S-Stark. A lot different than the goofy looking S-Stark from Dragon Quest IV, but I'm just gonna call him S-Stark. Maybe this is S-Stark after working out between games. I bet you after Dragon Quest IV and Dragon Quest IX, S-Stark was like, oh, those pesky questers, I'm gonna get in shape. Oh yeah, look at me now, man. I'm like super buff S-Stark, and I'm on meaner looking. I'm like S-Stark Schwarzenegger. And S-Stark is actually one of the optional super bosses in Dragon Quest X, and there's quite a lot of them actually. And in order to fight S-Stark, you actually have to do the Myth quest, which do require you to have all 10 of the key emblems, and actually get the king's armor from each of the 5 continents, and then you have to go to this temple where you do have to refight all 10 of the major bosses, and then you actually go to the underworld to fight S-Stark, and S-Stark pretty much kicked my ass, and I was not able to beat him until I hit like level 86 or something. And actually what's cool about S-Stark, it's actually one of these raid battles where you can team up with 7 other people to actually fight him. But luckily I was able to beat him with just my 4 party members. So in the Myth quest you actually get 3 fights with S-Stark. You actually have the regular fight, after that you fight him again, and then after that you fight him in his injured form, which is really cool. And actually during the mythical quest you actually do get to see the pasts of Sage Rhodia, Cosette, and all of her allies, and how they actually took up the mantle to fight S-Stark. S-Stark is completely optional, you don't really need to fight him, but he is very, very fun to fight. So we get to go to the cheeriest place in the game, the Dark Forest. I just went to the abandoned castle, now I'm here in the spooky forest. I mean, there's so many dark parts of the elf continent that we didn't know about yet. So we defeat the guardians of the Dark Tree, who look very, very goofy in comparison to the rest of the Dark Forest. We go back to the spooky abandoned castle, and then we revive our mother, Queen Agasuna. Hey mom, how's it going? You know, I got that leaf of the Dark Tree. I would have brought an Yggdrasil leaf, but you didn't want it. So now the newly revived Queen Agasuna says Princess Rita did go mad with her power and sealed her away at the cost of her own life, and also killed her father. And if the power of the Holy Land falls into the wrong hands, the entire continent of Eltona will be shrouded in darkness. So imagine all of Eltona looking like the Dark Forest and the abandoned castle. We will not let that happen. King Nikoroi will make sure that doesn't happen. So in searching the abandoned castle, we actually find a diary that says Queen Agasuna got really sick. So Rita tried to use the power of the Holy Land to cure her sickness, but instead of curing her mother, she actually attacked her mother because she went mad with power from the Holy Land. This story isn't quite adding up for some reason. So Queen Agasuna tells King Nikoroi to open the door to the Holy Land with his ring, and once we're in the Holy Land, Queen Agasuna's face changes. Ah! You're not my mother! And she reveals that she is actually the evil spider demon Aragune. So Aragune reveals that he actually killed King Nashroi and the real Queen Agasuna and took the form of Queen Agasuna, and then Princess Rita, actually using the power of the Holy Land, detected that that was not her real mother. That was actually Aragune in disguise, so that's why she attacked him at the cost of her own life. Oh, you sinister spider, I'm totally gonna squash you now with my boy King Nikoroi. So this was actually a complete misunderstanding because Princess Rita actually knew that that was not her mother. That was actually Aragune in disguise. So after we get our revenge on Aragune for all this chaos he caused 50 years ago, the spirit of Princess Rita rises, happy that she's now free, that Aragune has been defeated, and that the power of the Holy Land was used to protect the continent of Eltona. And she tells us, with the older King Nikoroi standing right there, that I have a younger brother named Nikoroi who I wanted to protect. So please tell him that I did this to protect him. So King Nikoroi, being the absolute alpha samurai that he is, pretty much says, yeah, I'll tell him. The feels, man. The feels so awful. Ooh. So the spirit of Princess Rita finally fades off into her eternal rest while King Nikoroi cries out for his sister. Sister! Oh my god, the feels, the Dragon Quest. Oh my god, Dragon Quest X, man. I can't even read the language, but I just Google Translate and it still made me have the feels, man. God, why can't this be localized? So Nikoroi thanks us for finally putting this 50-year mystery to rest, and we get the final key emblem. Alright, so now that we have all the key emblems we need, we go back to the Ogre continent, to the Landed Mountains, and Sage Horo says now it's time to go to the heart of Hades in order to fight the evil demon lord Nelgel. So we try to get to the castle ready to fight the evil demon king, and then we fail. Man, we came all this way to fight the evil demon king only to fail, and we still can't get a break in this game. So Sage Horo realizes that we actually need to go back 500 years into the past in order to get a vessel to actually take us to his castle. But in order to travel through time, we need to be in our human body. So we speak with the spirit of the fallen warrior of the body that we inhabited. So we go back to Glen Castle and meet Furuka, who is actually a descendant of the boatmaster who used the boat to travel to Nelgel's castle back 500 years in the past, and we regain our human form. Hey ladies. So we use the train at Glen to go back 500 years into the past, and then we see this big star Rhydamentes ready to destroy the Earth. Wait, since the future's okay, I assume Rhydamentes doesn't do anything right. Right? So the previous boatmaster Bernhardt, who actually used this boat to actually travel to Rhydamentes to stop it, was actually killed a while back, and his son Urge, who's actually Furuka's ancestor and looks really young, is urging the king to take up the mantle to stop Rhydamentes, but we need the power of the 4 legendary magicians to use the boat to travel to Rhydamentes, and since Urge is the son of Bernhardt, we just need 3. So we get to explore the capital of Glen right before the ogres inhabited it, and we go to the outskirts of town and visit the first elf magician Yakaru, who demands that the water in the castle be divided as the first test, and we pass that test. And the next magician is King Foster, who we encountered back in the Magistra's quest for the key emblem, and he wants us to get the icy bird splash, and after we get it, we pass the next test. And then the final test is from the ogre Gamilgo, who's actually mad at the humans that drove them out of Glen Castle, and he wants to declare war on them. And he demands that the humans surrender before he gives us his power, and since Urge can't abide by this, we go to Rhydamentes anyways. And so we go to Rhydamentes and stop the evil guardian Razburn, who was actually collecting human souls, and he was the one who actually killed Bernhardt, so we finally get a revenge for Urge. So once we defeat Razburn and stop Rhydamentes, we make peace with Galmigo, and he gives us the final power to get the boat, and then it's time to go back to the present. So now that we have the power of the boat, we go back to the present, to the Landed Mountains, and Furuka helps us board the boat in order to go to the heart of Hades, the castle of the Demon Lord Nelgel. So after going through a pretty crazy castle, just like most Dragon Quest endgame dungeons, we come to face with evil Demon Lord Nelgel, who we fight in 2 phases. So the first phase is his normal form, where he actually fights you, and he actually summons some monsters, including some of the old Dragon Quest II bosses. And then Nelgel's second form, he looks like a giant ape. So basically, he's Uzaru Nelgel, just like Dragon Ball Z. So after defeating Nelgel, the heart of Hades collapses, we're rescued by Furuka on the boat, and then we encounter the spirit of our counterpart, who encouraged us to free Lendasia. And then the credits roll, and Sage Horo praises us for defeating Nelgel, but we still need to free Lendasia.
You did good, kid, but it's far from over. Now, you need to head to Lendasia and find the sleeping princess.
To be continued. So Dragon Quest X, Rise of the 5 Tribes Online. I know I've said a lot about this game, but you know what? I've barely scratched the surface of everything you get to do and experience in this game. And I gotta say, for an MMO, it has a very good story, very true to the Dragon Quest lore. Although I don't think the story is as strong as Dragon Quest V and 11, it is still a very good story. And obviously with my overdramatic presentation at times, it did really hit me in the feels a lot. A lot more than I actually thought it was going to be. But the story isn't exactly the best part of the game. The best part of this game is playing with your friends. And yes, I know I was a bit turned off playing with other people after my experience with Guild Wars, after being called a nooblet, but most of the people I've played with in Dragon Quest X have been really awesome, and we do have our own Discord server where we actually voice chat and actually share tips with each other. And just like guilds in Guild Wars, and I think clans in World of Warcraft, I actually joined the Dragon's Den team. Yes, the popular Dragon Quest site run by Woodus himself. And our team is run by one of the legendary Dragon Quest X players, Cranberry. And once you join a team, you actually get access to the team house run by my pal Dan, and also maintained by my pal Nick. And they've done an amazing job making this place look amazing. And this is actually a My Town, which is a bit different than the housing in this game. And in order to get a My Town, you have to win the deed at the lottery, or you have to get 200 million gold. I'm kind of on my way there because I really want one. Yeah, it's gonna take forever. And playing with my friends at the Dragon Dens team has been probably the best part of playing Dragon Quest X. Because of the Dragon's Den, they actually helped me get a lot of the really hard to get accessories in the Magic Labyrinths. And a lot of the Japanese players that I met online have been really nice to me, and some of them even follow me on Twitter. Because I remember one time I was playing the first expansion for the game, I actually died in this tower, and I didn't have any revival items, so I would have to wait and revive at the next town, but this really kind Japanese player actually revived me, and he didn't have to do that, but that was so nice of him, and I thanked him for that. And you don't exactly have to play this game with others, you can actually play this game alone, unlike other MMOs, and still have a good time with the computer-controlled AI. And one of the best things about Dragon Quest X, it looks and it feels like a core Dragon Quest game, just with MMO elements, rather than an MMO game with the Dragon Quest name on it, because it still keeps the simple menu system, the simple combat system. It still keeps things very simple like you're used to in Dragon Quest games, which makes it very easy to play even in Japanese, because you're going to get by more on menu memorization. So the big question is, will Dragon Quest X ever get localized in English for everybody to play? You know, it's my biggest wish after playing this game in full Japanese, but because Dragon Quest isn't exactly as popular in the West as it is in Japan, it's probably never going to be localized at this rate. But never say never though. Because a little game called Phantasy Star Online 2, which came out in 2012, which is the same year as Dragon Quest X, finally got localized in 2020. Also, a couple of my friends like Austin from Dragon Quest FM, where I did appear on their Dragon Quest X podcast, and also my friend Mike Nerium, they've actually beaten all of version 1 without knowing any Japanese. And I bet you a lot of the top English players for Dragon Quest X don't even know a lick of Japanese, but they're probably caught up with the latest expansion, they have all the highest weapons and accessories. So I'm saying if there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, so that gives me a little hope that Dragon Quest X will be localized here, because the producers definitely want Dragon Quest X to come out here. And they definitely know that people are playing it in English, and that's the reason why they got rid of the IP ban, because you know, like, why not get free money? And also, the producers have been talking about bringing an offline version of Dragon Quest X here to the West, and I do think it can work, and if it's the only option we got in English, fine, I'll accept it. Although they do have to really reconstruct the ecosystem of this game. You know, they have to rework the bazaar, a lot of the team events, making teams, and probably like releasing events at certain times. And there are a lot of amazing events in this game. I just did the replay of the Dragon Lord Dragon Quest 1 event, and it was amazing. Like, you get to travel this 3D rendered Charlock Castle, and then you fight the Dragon Lord in 3D, and you're actually at level 30, which was the max level from Dragon Quest 1, with all the abilities you get in Dragon Quest 1, well, in Japanese though. You know, there's also the Easter event, the White Day event, and you actually get to vote for certain NPCs, and like I mentioned before, the awesome cosplay event, and there's also the Dragon Quest III Zoma event, where you actually get to fight a 3D rendered Zoma in his castle. And I know the language barrier is probably the biggest turnoff for people in this game, and I understand that. I completely understand, but I'm kind of a masochist and want to play this game anyways. And right now, here in 2020, at the recording of this video, there's never been a better time to actually play Dragon Quest X. Like, we have Google Translate, we have a whole bunch of Google translatable guides online, and like I said before, if there's a will, there's a way. And I highly recommend Dragon Quest X if you're a hardcore Dragon Quest fan, and if you want to fill that gap between 1 through 9 and 11, this is the game for you. And if you want to play Dragon Quest X, there is a free trial on the Nintendo Switch, the PS4, and the PC, which actually lets you play all of Rise of the Five Tribes Online, and the first couple of chapters of the expansion, The Sleeping Hero and the Guided Allies, up to version 2.3. Sadly, the Wii version has been discontinued as of 2017, so I just bought this as a collector's item just to show off in this review. And the Wii U version is still working, although you probably need more than your 32 gig hard drive, because I tried to play it, I couldn't play it, and it only goes up to the third expansion, version 4. And there's also the super rare 3DS version, which I got for a really cheap price, but I don't really recommend it because it's kind of hard to play on the small screen. So right now, I definitely recommend playing on the PC, the PS4, or my personal preference, the Nintendo Switch. And I also recommend getting the all-in-one package for versions 1 through 5 that was just released. It has the base game, Rise of the Five Tribes Online, and all of its expansions in one convenient package. Alright guys, so that ends this episode of Awesome Video Game Memories about Dragon Quest X, Rise of the Five Tribes Online, and we will continue with the expansion, version 2, The Sleeping Hero and the Guided Allies. Take care. Hey everybody, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, especially subscribe, and make sure to click on that notification bell so you know when we release new videos, because YouTube's probably not going to tell you. And if you want to see me play games live, make sure to follow me at twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus. And if you have a Twitch Prime account, make sure to subscribe so you can get awesome perks like subscriber badges and much more. And if you want to support us, make sure to support us on patreon.com/Ryan Molina because every dollar helps me bring you a better show. And also make sure to follow me on Twitter at @ThatRyanMolina and at BattleGeekPlus. And also make sure to check out the official Battle Geek Plus website for a complete listing of our books, merchandise, t-shirts, and a lot more. Alright, thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out these other videos right here. Thanks and take care.